세상에는 나보다 더 잘난 남자.
Hey, welcome back to Check the Vending Machines, a weekly pop culture podcast on the internet where two best friends get together, talk about pop culture stuff. I'm Jason, that's Zach. What's going on, man?
Jason, I feel bad
Why?
because I'm going to do this again. And I've been doing it for the past couple of weeks, and I feel bad because we've had this thing where we've been trying to do like more segmented stuff right now, but I've got like two big things that I got to talk about.
Sure.
I don't know if you're keeping up to it, but first thing I've got to say is that Attack on Titan is back.
No, I saw some trailers on YouTube, but I didn't watch them.
Yeah. So the second episode was today, and I just finished watching it not that long ago. And fuck, dude, I'm so happy the show's back, but I'm so sad that it's gonna be gone in like 2 more months.
Oh,
Because
right.
the show is so fucking good.
Well,
Yeah, because I think it's like the final. It's the like the final episodes, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I definitely saw somewhere that it was like it's apparently supposed to only be like 12 episodes. So
right. Well, it makes sense. I mean, I already read the manga. I just skipped to the end to see what the ending was when it finished because I wasn't going to be bothered to read more than I mean, I only had so much left, but I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll just read the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is so little things like franchises or series or whatever that I really feel like I have to. We've been through this before, but spoilers don't bother me because to me,
Yeah.
the journey is what matters, and the spoilers don't ruin a journey for me. I know some people they really do matter.
Yeah.
To me, they don't, and I mean, hell, even like The Matrix, I was perfectly fine if I didn't, but I was perfectly fine if I wanted to like Wikipedia the plot line. I wouldn't care as long as
Right.
because you could read text. Reading text does not describe how the scene was filmed or animated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between like knowing how the story goes and like actually being there and like present in the moment and like experiencing how the story actually unfolds.
Or just
So,
or knowing how an actor acted or how their facial expressions or the music or whatever. So to me, the actual scripting or plot line or whatever is so minuscule in terms of that stuff. So for Attack on Titan, which I really liked Attack on Titan when it came out. I didn't read it from the beginning, but I think I started reading it maybe chapter 30 or 40. I think when I started reading it, the manga was only at the point where everyone was being attacked in the tower. Like at the very,
so that's like the season 2.
at the very
part,
beginning of the manga. That's when I started reading it, and then I read up to there. I was like, okay, there's no more to read because it's up to date.
Right.
And then I think the anime came out around like a year later or something like that. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna watch it because I already fucking read it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just off the boat for that's like 6 years. You know,
I think we really didn't. I think both of us didn't really start really paying attention to it until last year when we did our actual
pretty much, yeah.
Watch through of the entire series up to that point. So
pretty much. I mean, it was always there, kind of in the ether, and I would hear about it and people. And that's the one of those anime that crossed over to like non-anime world, you know.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones. Like it's up there with like Dragon Ball and
Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. And
Demon Slayer, yeah. I was trying to think of another one like Dragon Ball, and I think Demon Slayer is probably the other best option. Where it's like an anime that actually gets outside of the
you
anime.
see like NBA players like talking about it, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you see like a traditionally non-anime fan, and they might be, you know, but like if I can go to Hot Topic and see the shirts there, well, Hot Topic sells anime shit, obviously, but like only the big dog anime,
right?
Get to that.
They only sell stuff that they know is going to actually sell.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and even then, like however long ago Attack on Titan season 1 was, didn't watch it until we did our episode about it or our episodes about it, and I mean, I really enjoyed it for what it is.
Yeah,
I think the twist is really cool. But then it gets to
I think the twist in season 3 actually probably makes it a better anime than I think it would normally have been.
Yeah.
It's still a good anime, but I think the twist actually makes it into like a lot of people like throw around the term of like it being like a modern classic or something like that. And like before the twist, I would have been like, it's like good, but it's not that. And I think the twist actually like elevates it beyond like what it normally could have been.
Yeah, I think if it kept going on without that twist, I would have been like bored.
Yeah. I think for sure.
Yeah.
I think it actually, I think it helped twist the story around and injected like new perspectives and a new like actual perspective on like the story so far as you know it, which I think
Well, I
helped
mean,
a lot.
without that twist, you would
Yeah.
have had Aaron still be a hero, and adding
Yeah.
that twist makes him not a hero. Like it makes him like a
It
twisted
makes him,
hero,
it makes him like a war
which
criminal.
is what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because now you have to like, okay, I feel bad for him, but also I agree with him, and like all this kind of stuff. Which
Yeah, I think that's the best part that season 4 did so far, which is like I don't know how far you watch into it or if you even started watching it, but I think that's the most interesting part about that season in general is like even for when you start watching it, I think it's at least the first 4 or 5 episodes is entirely from the perspective of the people of Marley.
yeah,
And like seeing that different perspective and injecting that like the whole gray thing of like but neither side is good, each side does evil to each other and like that kind of you know morally gray aspect of the story I think really helps
yeah,
make it more interesting than it would have normally been.
yeah, absolutely. Well, on the flip side of that, before we get into Lethal Weapon 2,
Yeah.
um, I gave a
Oh, also the OP for the new season is fucking killer. It's metalcore.
oh nice,
So fucking good,
that's
dude.
cool.
If you haven't listened to it, I recommend you listen to it. It's really
Do you
fucking
know who
good.
the band is?
It's Sim. So I hadn't
I don't
heard
know
it.
who
I
that
thought I'd
was.
heard of them, but I haven't heard of them too much. Apparently they've only done openings for like one other series, but it's a really good opening.
Okay, that's cool. No, I was gonna say on the flip side of that, something very different. Um, I was bored,
Mm-hmm.
and I was new year, so I have a new reading goal for
Yeah.
novels, and I finished a couple books already, nonfiction books, and I was
Yeah.
okay. I want to kind of sweeten up the palette a little bit, change it up a little bit, so I wanted to read some manga, and I
Okay.
caught up on. I texted you. I caught up on Kaiju number 8.
Yes.
But I finished that in like 20 minutes. It was super easy to read, so I caught
Yeah,
up.
it's not. I mean, it's only got like I think it's a
It's like
little less
50
than 40
something. Yeah,
chapters. Like, yeah, it's not that hard to get through at all.
and I was already on chapter 30 something from the summer.
Yeah.
So I caught up really fast. I was like, okay, I want something else to read. I didn't know what to read, so I was like looking through like Marvel Unlimited. I got a trial of that again, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care. Um,
Yeah.
but I decided to give Mashal another chance,
Yeah, dude.
and
Did you get how far did you
I'm
get
only on
into it?
chapter
Did you catch
10.
up? Okay.
And
I think really
it is a
I
fucking, at least from where I'm at, this is exactly what I
yeah.
was saying to you about why I didn't keep reading it,
Yeah.
because it's a gag manga. Now when I
I think it definitely starts off as a gag manga. I think it really I'm trying to remember when it really like hits its pace. I think it's probably like 20 to 30 chapters in and it becomes like an actual battle
well I
manga at that.
googled it to see what people on Reddit were saying about it, and I saw some
Yeah.
Reddit thread that was like it's a gag manga that becomes not one. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well I'll keep giving it a shot because there's some funny bits in it. I don't mind gag
Yeah,
manga.
I mean, the very beginning humor is like, I mean, it's One Punch Man humor in the very beginning.
Hmm.
So it's like, it's nice, but it's like, I already have that because I can just read One Punch Man or like watch One Punch Man.
Right.
So it's like, it's weird that it has like, the gag in the beginning is, it's almost too similar to One Punch
Well,
Man.
I've never read One Punch Man. I've never seen One Punch
Yeah.
Man. So to me, it's all that I
Oh,
get the premise, so I understand that it's
yeah.
like they're similar, obviously.
That's basically the gag of One Punch Man is just like an OP character that like makes everybody look stupid.
Yeah, which I get that from seeing some anime, some of the fights in One Punch Man, if you want to call
Hmm.
them that. But
Yeah.
so I'm on chapter 10, and I think the art's
Hmm.
cool and the premise is cool. Man, it's how the fact that it's actually Harry Potter, pretty much.
Yeah, the fact that I think that it also helps separate it too. That yeah, it's like a Harry Potter battle manga, especially later on when it like he actually gets into school later on, and you get more into like it's like a Triwizard tournament almost. Like it's there's shit that's like literally like ripped from Harry
No, I mean
Potter,
on chapter
which I find
10,
cool.
they already show
Yeah,
they're breaking first page of chapter 10 is like them talking about the different houses.
yeah. Well,
You
there's
know,
also the part where I'm at in the manga where you caught up is like not just different houses, but there's also there's an actual like Triwizard tournament thing where there's like the different schools having a tournament
okay.
basically. So
Well, man, I liked it. The art was fun. There's some parts that were really funny to me. Um,
it's got really good. I mean, it's got. I don't know what the exact comparison is, but I mean it's got really good action art. Especially there's definitely those like 2-panel spreads that are like they're up there. They're pretty good. I can't remember who the artist is, but he's up there on my list.
Well, there's a panel in I think the first chapter or second chapter or whatever. It was I'm pretty sure it's the first chapter that like really made me laugh, and it was the segment where the guy's like powering up all his magic spells, and then like the panel's just him is just the main character, just like knocking them down.
Yeah.
But then so he does that bit like I think twice back to back. And then the bad guy's like, okay, I'm gonna charge it even more powerful, and then the bystander character is like, that's gonna destroy the whole forest, and then he like blasts at Mash, and then he's like, and then the translation or whatever is the character he's like basketball dribbling the energy beat the energy ball, and the guy's like, stop your sweet dribbling of my energy or something like. It's something that gag made me laugh a lot, but. I mean, where I'm at right now, it's very much like the Dumbledore is just like, okay, you're here because I want you because you're a good guy. It's kind of like, all right, I need some depth still, and I get that it's a comedy manga at the beginning, and hopefully it finds its footing. But right now, it's just
I think it takes about 20 to 30 for it to actually find its footing. But there's definitely like a definitive switch when it stops like just being a gag manga and it actually starts to like get into the battle manga tropes. Okay, for sure.
Well, I'll give it a chance and see how I feel, but if something else catches my attention, I'll probably bounce out. I've been wanting to read like Fairy Tail or something, or Black Clover, or something that's purely battle manga, because that's kind of just what I read most of the time. But and there's nothing really on Shonen Plus.
I mean, the only other closest thing, which I think I talked to you about a little bit, was probably be Sakamoto Days, which I'm enjoying a lot too, which is like John Wick, basically, as a bottom manga.
Yeah, see, I read the first like 5 or 6 when those were pretty fresh, and I liked the first couple chapters. I liked the idea of the guy going to the shop and recognizing him and all kind of stuff, and him being overweight and stuff. I like that, and the guy's wife being like, "Don't kill anyone," or I like all that stuff, but like. Again, I've never really read just purely comedy stuff. I'm sure that I would enjoy it. I just don't. I always just kind of want to watch power-ups, and that's why I like Kaiju, because right now it's like they're really diving into the idea of the squadrons.
Kaiju right now,
the squadrons and the units, and having the
well, I was like, the latest chapter that came out, like I read it and I was like, oh, if Jason gets this chapter, it's gonna be his fucking shit, dude. Well, it's all like the different squadrons, and
the moment the dude dies,
the girl getting ready for her fucking power up with the main guy, and definitely I can't remember the main guy's name, but like you definitely can tell that he's getting ready for his fucking power up. So.
But like once the director guy dies, or whatever you want to call it. And they have the funeral.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, and they have the funeral, and they cut to all the different squad leaders. I'm like, okay, this is all I need.
Yeah.
Different squads with different purposes and different goals, and they have their different bosses, and they have their different captains, and like that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I want is like different squads with different squad leaders and different units, you know. And then just like I was reading it, and it cut to one of the when they got transferred to the new squadron or whatever, new unit, and they had the girl. I don't know her name. One of the girls that has the big machine gun, and
like his childhood friend.
No. This is when he gets moved to the first unit, and they're having their first big mission with the first unit, and they have the girl, black-haired chick, and she has like the blunt bangs and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, these are my favorite girls. These are my favorite anime girls. My favorite anime girls are the shitty ones that have no redeeming qualities. The ones that are just mean for no reason. That's my favorite. Like, technically, the main girl, the girl that he wants to be with, has the look of my favorite kind of anime girl. But we know she's not, because she has emotions, and that's the ruiner. That's the ruiner.
That's the downer.
I need her to be like, when he's like in the car, he's like locked up, and he's like, "Will you still let me fight beside you?" or whatever bullshit anime trope they have.
You need her to say no.
And she's like, "No, you're a fucking piss animal." And he's like, "That's what I want. I want her to be like, no, you suck. You're a monster.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I have to prove to you that I'm not one. And she's like, you can't. That's what I want.
You can't.
That's what I want.
It's already done.
So, but hey, man, we're here today on I'm not sure how it is in Charlotte. I'm sure it's fucking cold.
It's fucking cold as shit, dude.
It's cold here. It's not as bad as Charlotte, but I got a bunch of coffee, and we're about to talk about...
snow on the ground that I had to fucking drive through for like 20 minutes because I had to be extra slow. So, yeah, it was... it's chilly up here, dude.
But we're here to talk about the next movie in the Lethal Weapon series, Lethal Weapon 2. And some would say, not that I know them, that this movie, Lethal Weapon 2, took everything about Lethal Weapon 1 and perfected it in the sense of the comedy buddy cop aspect. Because from the get-go of this movie, they're already friends. So the friendship is there.
I think I enjoyed that a lot too. That they already have that camaraderie going in, and you already see. I don't know how long it's been since the first movie, like lore-wise, but I like that you can tell that over the time that they've been together that they've built up that camaraderie with each other like even more.
Like Murtaugh,
especially with like that first car chase.
Yeah, Murtaugh is still like you're a fucking psychopath, but yeah. He appreciates, and here's how I'll get into the movie obviously, but here's how about this movie.
I mean, the thing that encapsulates that with me is he goes to his house and he has his own fucking laundry at Murtaugh's house.
His own laundry. He's drinking the beer. He's having dinner. Yeah. It's a commonplace thing, but to me, and this is I'm sure what they intended to do, but it's that in the first movie, it's Murtaugh saying all the time, "I'm too old for this shit. I'm too old for this shit."
Yeah, he doesn't say that much. I think he only says it like once or twice this movie.
But then you get to this movie, and then 3, and then 4, and I took it as this is Murtaugh having a third win because Riggs is younger, he's active, and he's like, wait, hold on. I can still keep up with this fucking guy. So I'm enjoying this job again.
The only time he said he was too old for his shit that I remember is when they had to drop down like 50 feet from a container. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'd be too old for that shit too.
Yeah, but like the beginning of the movie, like, my point being, if you were, in terms of that aspect of the first movie being a comedy, have comedic aspects, it elevates all of that. And which is funny because if you go back to watch that documentary that I told you about that you watched, the Last Action Heroes. Yeah. Shane Black, who wrote the first movie, they tasked him to write the second movie, and apparently they said, no, we don't want your script because he made it so dark that I think Riggs dies in it or something like that. But like, Jesus, it's so funny to see how like the movie could have been potential.
I mean, I feels like it's not too far off because you go to the end of this movie, he basically almost fucking dies anyways.
Would have been a good movie of him almost dying.
Yeah, I mean, he's stabbed in the leg. He's got shot multiple times by fucking Werner Herzog. I look into the eyes of Leo Fong and I see only darkness.
But so, oh my God. Going from the first movie, what did you expect of Lethal Weapon 2, or what did you get?
I don't know if I was really expecting too much. I mean, I expected another buddy cop movie, but I definitely like enjoyed this movie a lot. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch them multiple times to see if I actually enjoyed it more, but I still enjoyed this movie like a hell of a lot. Like the first opening chase, like I think you talked about last week, I was like fucking killer.
So good.
I love that shit.
So good.
And I think I really enjoyed, honestly, the aspect too of just like, because I think I think in this movie, speaking on the camaraderie as well, you can really tell that like Murtaugh knows what he has to do to like get the best out of Riggs. Like I think the best epitomizes. What is it? What am I trying to say? Epitomization. The best example of that is when they infiltrate the embassy building, and you've got fucking Murtaugh in there as a black man trying to immigrate to South Africa during apartheid. Yeah, which is also that was the thing I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting this movie to fucking hit on like the hard-hitting racism of South Africa in the 1990s. Yeah. And like apartheid and all that shit. And I was like, oh, okay, this is like serious shit. And then you've got fucking the British sounding dude, which is I guess I didn't realize how much like the South African accent from white people just sounds like a British accent.
Yep.
And then you've got them calling all them African, or what is it? Not African, Akafir, I think, or something like that. which I assume is some racist term for like black people or like black people lover or something like that. Because you've got the one assassin character who keeps saying it to I think Riggs the whole time. But yeah, but like the best example of that is you've got Murtaugh going there being the distraction so that Riggs can sneak in and kind of do his like fucking special forces
infiltration
going off the handle type of thing where he infiltrates Werner Herzog's office and destroys his fish tank.
Yeah. Well, it's like even that, take it back to when they go to the house and they kind of first kind of step into it.
Mm-hmm.
Riggs always takes point.
Yeah.
Murtaugh's like a step behind trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the car chase, the very first car chase, when they lose the guy.
Oh my god! I mean, that's probably the best bit in this movie is the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Go.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Riggs just jumping the gun, and then Murtaugh trying to catch up and figure it out, and they're not. Then like them being on the same page, but also not on the same page.
Yeah.
But that opening scene to me is an example of one of the best opening scenes of an action movie.
It's a really good car
It throws you in the mix. It's fun. It's funny.
Yeah.
There's stakes. You don't know what the stakes are yet, but they're giving you stakes. You're on a chase. You know it's a big deal. There's a whole team of detectives on the chase. Everyone's frantic. It cuts back to the headquarters. They're making bets on who's going to catch the guy. And they're like, oh, I take 50 on Riggs or whatever. And then they're like, oh, he's driving his wife's new car, station wagon. Oh, okay,
never mind. I take it back.
I take it back. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So,
oh my god, his poor wife's car just fucking gets destroyed in the first 30 minutes of this movie.
It gets wrecked, and then Riggs is like, well, it's still a new car.
It's still a new car. It's still new. You still bought it new.
So it's all that stuff, and it cuts to immediately to like, not immediately, but no, right after that chase, leading into the comedy and the family stuff that Murtaugh is that Danny Glover is so great at, with his daughter being the commercial.
The thing that was probably the most disappointing of this movie is there's not enough of the family stuff again. Because basically, I mean, the family gets like threatened in the first 30 minutes. And he basically sends his family away, and they're gone for like the rest of the movie, except for like
the commercial
references to his daughter starring in the condom commercial.
How good is that? It's like it's at first.
It's such a good bit too.
They're all watching it. They're all happy, and then it gets to the end.
Riggs is all excited. He's telling everybody in the station, and then it's a fucking condom commercial, and everybody in the station is like, "Got the rubbers for you, boss."
Yeah, I love it. It's so great because it's so accurate. But I love that in the commercial itself, it's like
it's so accurate to even like the characterization of the dog in the first movie, where like she's the hot daughter, and it's like, yeah, the hot daughter would star in the fucking commercial for horn dogs.
Yeah. But I love that, like, even the way they shot the commercial, it's like they have comedic timing in the commercial. It's like everyone's watching it, they're all happy, they're proud, and then the commercial all out of nowhere, it's like, oh, and then condoms, and it's like,
and it's condoms.
They build it up to that, and then his cut to Murtaugh's face, and he's like freaking out, and Riggs is like trying to hide the laugh, and they ask her boyfriend, like no, he's there watching too. So
I think she was great.
Yeah, I think she's great. I love that stuff. That goes back to Danny Glover being so great as that family man. How do you this movie though? Speaking about characterization, the main bad guy, of the movie is so infuriating compared to the first movie.
Dude, I mean, I've seen it in other movies before, and this probably wasn't the first one to do it, and it's definitely not going to be the last, but like the whole loophole of diplomatic immunity and like assholes being able to use it to like just
do whatever you want.
The fuck they want. It's been highlighted before, and the fact that like it's still a system that exists, even though everybody knows how fucked up it is and how people can just take advantage of it. It's like, not to bring it up, but it's like the One Piece shit with like the 7 warlords. It's like the same fucking thing where like you're a warlord, so you get away with whatever the fuck you want. It's like that similar type of thing to it, where it's just like it gives you carte blanche to just be a fucking asshole because you have this title to your name.
Well, I'm also pretty sure that like 1 billion episodes of Law and Order like have that storyline of all different Law and Orders.
I'm sure, not even Law and Order, just like criminal procedurals in general have like some fucking asshole at some point who has diplomatic immunity.
But there's something about this guy in particular, it's the way he says it.
Yeah. Dude, that fucking last scene where he fucking shoots Riggs and he's like, diplomatic immunity, and like, nah, asshole.
Yeah. I love it. Then when they kill the girl, and
Oh my
Riggs
god.
is like, "Oh, dude."
Well, that's the other thing too as well, which I think that was the thing that I was least expecting was that they dig into fucking Riggs's background with his wife like fucking hardcore in this
Mm-hmm,
movie.
mm-hmm.
They lay out the whole thing of like, and then it makes sense because it's like, oh yeah, the bad guy, I guess the secondary bad guy in this movie is like, oh, that's the guy who fucking killed your wife.
Yeah.
So, and also, not only did he kill your wife, it's actually your fault because it was supposed to be you, which is like the double fucking knife in the heart.
Well, too, like the scene back to the family thing that this movie does. This movie does have that kind of. Obviously, it builds upon the first movie. So, if you didn't have the first movie, it obviously wouldn't be as good. But
Yeah.
When Riggs is drinking the Coors in the kitchen, making his steak or whatever he's making, I can't remember what he's making. I'm pretty sure it's a steak.
I can't remember either. I think it's probably a steak.
And then he's talking to Murtaugh's wife, and he's breaking down the pen. Like I found the gold pen in the wash. About he's telling the whole monologue that is so great. It goes back to what I was saying last week about how Mel Gibson like acted the shit out of an action movie. I mean, they both did, but like for that particular type of twisted character, like it's heads and shoulders.
He definitely
above.
makes the character for sure.
Yeah, I mean he's leagues above other action characters who have fucked up. Like Arnold couldn't do this in Commando.
Oh my god, no.
My daughter's kidnapped. Whatever.
I couldn't imagine like Jean-Claude or Sylvester or like Arnold being able to like pull any of that off. Like it would just wouldn't work.
Like I could see like JCVD having this monologue. Like he has something like similar to that in different movies. So
I could see them having similar monologues to it, but I just couldn't see it working the same way.
It would be a different. There'd be no depth to it.
Yeah.
Like Mel Gibson's not an action star. He's a good actor who did an action movie. He does action movies. And not saying that Arnold and Stallone and all these guys aren't good actors, but they're good at what they do.
They're a specific type of actor, and Mel Gibson is like
a good actor.
Yeah, like he's just a step above them.
Yeah, he's just a better actor with more layers, and he can reach that better on. And it goes back to his face acting, the way he motions around while he's cooking the food, drinking the Coors, telling this heart-wrenching story about his wife and how she dies, and has the pen. It's all about this pen, and you see it on Murtaugh's wife's face, how she's reacting to it. And it goes back to that thing where like Riggs will never tell Murtaugh this, so he walks in and goes, "Oh, a pen? Did you tell him?
Oh yeah, we found that pen in the wash."
It's like, and then he's like, and then you think that Riggs would be upset, but you can tell on his face he's like, "I'm not gonna." He's like, "Yeah, we're buddies. I'm not gonna tell him this depressing ass story, Yeah. So even that shows their dynamic really well, and while part of the middle of the movie with both movies 1 and 2 have a house scene,
Oh yeah.
They go to a house and they find some shit that makes them go further into the story, which it's similar on that front, but I really like that this movie goes into a chase from the house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like the chase in the house. I like the actual like mini confrontation before they actually do it, because I mean, really the whole movie is set up from. I mean, it's set up from the car chase, but like the actual like plot of the movie gets going forward with the fact of the house raid and everything that transpires from that, with Werner Herzog showing up and showing the diplomatic immunity papers and all that, and everything that transpires from that. I felt bad for the fucking Dutch girl who showed up only to get fucking murdered.
Yeah, there's a term for that, isn't there? A term for that in movies?
I don't know. I feel like it's a crude term, which is disposable woman, but
there's a term for that in a movie. I can't remember what I learned of it recently, which is like a female character is brought in just so she can die to give the guy character like layers.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
The whole point of,
but there's
the secretary character,
but yeah. And then how did you feel about Joe Pesci?
I was fine with him. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily love it either. Because I think that Riggs and Murtaugh, I think their chemistry is like enough without Joe Pesci. So I think a lot of times it felt a little like too extra. It felt like that moment where they're like trying to make it like too funny with like him being like fast talking slick guy who's like And I think like one of the first scenes with him like perfectly encapsulates that, where he's like trying to explain like how he launders money.
Yep, yep.
I'm like, I get that they probably like on paper thought that this was funny, but like an actual recreation of it, it just didn't like work as good. Like it just felt like, I don't know. It just wasn't funny to me, and it also just made like Riggs and Murtaugh seem like dumber than I think they actually are. Because like, from my perspective, I feel like Riggs and Murtaugh know what the fuck like laundering money is and like
Well,
the
Murtaugh would
basics
for
of how
sure.
it worked. Yeah,
You
and
know,
so like the fact that you like have this monologue where like Joe Pesci is like trying to explain it to him, and they're both like acting like Neanderthals and like they don't understand how it works.
I took it
I don't know.
as I took it as he found a new way to launder is what I thought it was. Because I was like thinking, like I was like
I
listening to
get
it,
that, but it's just that like because I feel like even if it's like a new way to launder, like I feel like Riggs and Murtaugh with an explanation would be like, okay, I understand that. But this movie is like, no, even with an explanation of how it works, they still don't fucking get it.
yeah, I don't know. I felt like if anyone's gonna get it, it would be Murtaugh, the guy who's been doing this for 30 years or however long. You know,
Yeah.
he would definitely know have at least even if he didn't know how this particular process worked. After hearing it the first time, he'd be like, okay, so this is the X's and O's. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think that the detriment to the movie is definitely Joe Pesci. Not saying that he's bad in the movie; he's good in the role, but he's
Yeah.
there too much.
Yeah, I think that's the big part of it. I mean, he's a B plot. It's a B plot character that like gets shoved into the A plot of the movie. And I think that's to the detriment of the movie. Because especially at the end, like the resolution to his thing of the B plot is just like, oh, go away now. You're
Yeah,
fine. And like that's it. Like that's his last part in the movie. It's like, take my car, go away, you're
yeah.
fine now. And then you
Um,
actually get the resolution to the A plot in the last like 20 minutes. Like Joe Pesci's like just gone
right.
after they rescue him. And that's like that's it. And that's like so I think it just accentuates how like not meaningful to the actual plot he really is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do want to say though, my favorite scene in the movie is the toilet bomb.
Dude, okay, so yeah, I did want to bring this up because I mean we talked about this last week, which is like the only really thing I know about Lethal Weapon is the toilet. And then we watched this movie, I was like, oh, that's the toilet. I know the toilet.
Yeah,
He's on the toilet and there's a bomb in the toilet. I know this
yeah.
shit. And then it's better. It's better because then they bring back the 1, 2, 3 bit. And I
Yeah.
was like, perfect. I
No,
love it.
even before that, my favorite part of that scene, which I love the whole scene because one, it shows brotherhood. They're
Yeah.
partners. The bomb squad goes, "Hey Riggs, it's time to go." He's like, "No, I'm not leaving." "Hey, you got to go." "I'm not leaving."
Give me your vest. I'm staying here.
"Well,
with him.
you're gonna need this then." And he goes, "Okay, well, give me the gun.
Yeah.
Here, what you have this gun. Here, hold my gun. I'm gonna get it back." So you have
Yeah.
the friendship. You can see it on Murtaugh's face. But even before that, when Riggs is checking he's like checking the house out. He's cutting through, and he sees Murtaugh's like, "Oh, what? Oh God!" And then he's like talking to him. He's like, "Oh shit, that's a bomb. That's C4, whatever the fuck it is."
Yeah.
And Murtaugh's like, "Hey man, what are we gonna do?" He's like, "I gotta call the bomb guys." He's like, "Okay, fine. Just keep it under the radar. Just a little
Just
bit.
keep it under the radar.
Yeah, under the radar."
Next scene, the entire house is filled
the
with
entire
people.
side. It's like
The entire
it's
house
that,
is filled with
yeah,
everybody.
it's that push in shot of the entire street. The fucking everyone's running around. That to me, every time I see that scene, it makes me laugh so hard because the way that they cut it, he's like, yeah, of course, yeah, under the radar.
Also, I just like imagining Murtaugh being stuck on the toilet for like 12 hours because he sees Boom and he's just like,
Not gonna do it. Not gonna risk it.
I'm not gonna
I'm not
move.
gonna risk it.
I'm not gonna fucking move. I am a statue.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna move.
I think that to me is my favorite scene because it encapsulates everything good about Lethal Weapon in terms of the buddy copness. Like, it's funny.
I think it encapsulates. I mean, it's like what you talked about. I think it encapsulates their relationship as a whole and like how they give and take from each other. And like, you know, at the end of the day, that they really do have like each other's back. They're like, I mean, they haven't done the shit, but like at that point, I've essentially viewed them as like blood brothers. Like they're in this for life, and like they have like a beyond. They have a bond beyond just being partners. Like they are like brothers in arms. So
that, and like, it shows that it's a comedic scene. It's a dangerous scene. You get the hint of the world around them.
It's hard to have
everything.
that too, where you have that mix of like it's a comedy scene because it's a guy stuck on a fucking toilet, but it's also like
Yeah.
he could die and blow apart
Yeah.
into a million pieces.
In the house that just got wrecked last movie next to this house he's building up, and there's
a house where that guy's like house invaded him and his wife and like duct taped him up like less than an hour ago, so it's already like a vulnerable place for him.
Not to mention to get the Chekhov's gun earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
With the
There was a couple times that they did a Chekhov's gun. There was what was the other one? Oh, it was when they were in the station and the fact that Riggs can dislocate his shoulder. Which showed up later in the movie as well.
Yep.
There's a couple of Chekhov's guns that show up in this movie.
That the nail gun.
Mm-hmm. The nail gun is a big one.
Nail gun's a big one, which is a pretty brutal scene too.
Dude, yeah, he fucking like
two guys. He kills two guys.
The first one's not that brutal, but the other one where like the guy has him through the plastic, is like it's pretty. He gets like four.
He gets four in the face.
5 nails in the guy.
Yeah. But I love the movie. I love Lethal Weapon 2. It's such a fun action movie, and to me, Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 particular, 3 is great, 4 is less great, but 1 and 2 in particular, they stand on the top of the mountain of not the best action movies because there's better, I think, but they represent just great, solid filmmaking for action movies. Like. They're fun.
I would agree with that.
They're funny. They're action packed. They have big set pieces at some point in the movie. Funny characters, great characters, good, decent writing. The plots are like action movie plots.
I mean, the plots are like like boilerplate, like action crime procedural plots. Because I mean, at the end of the day, a buddy cop movie is just a longer crime procedural.
Yeah.
But it's what they're able to like do with those plots that I think is really interesting about these movies. Like they're able to make those plots, and through Riggs and Murtaugh and like their camaraderie and like their brotherhood, they're able to like expand it more than just like an hour-long drama or something like that. That they're actually able to do a little bit more with it, which I like a lot. I don't know if that's, obviously I haven't seen the others, so I don't know. You know the one that I do if that continues in 3 and 4. But
they're always there because the two guys are just so good. And just that alone is better than just having Van Damme by himself. Because when you have Van Damme by himself, Van Damme's always going to take the scene because he's Van Damme.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about the buddy cop movie in general. And I think there's not a lot of action movies outside the buddy cop movie that had to kind of have like two people that are able to play off each other. Like I can't think of a lot outside of buddy cop movies where you have two people that can play off of. But I think it's especially with Glover or Gibson, just having two people that can like have that good of chemistry, can like constantly play off each other's energy, and people that have that like just that it feels like effortless back and forth with each other is something that's like it's really special.
I do think the one thing about it is that what makes it so good is that the two guys, for being stars in their own rights, like they're stars separately, right? They're stars. They're not afraid to give the other one the scene.
Yeah.
Right. So the difference between it goes back to the difference between Mel Gibson and Danny Glover compared to traditional action stars, right? There is no way Van Damme is going to give the scene to someone else in the movie. Unless at the end of the day, he gets to recoup it, right? That's why The Expendables is really just Stallone trying to figure out how to give everyone a bit to, like, be a big deal, right?
Yeah, everybody gets their shot in The Expendables,
And for good or bad, but the difference between
even the bad guys.
Right, and even Gibson. But, like, even the point of being, like, the good actor knows that, okay, it's okay for me to eat shit in this scene because it's part of the story, whatever, it's the process. Whereas, if it was it's Rambo 3, I'm Rambo, it's called Rambo 3, I do whatever the fuck I want to do. You know what I mean? It's like Hulk Hogan on my shirt.
I get to be Rambo.
Yeah, it's like Hulk. If we're wrestling Hulk, I don't go down, you go down, I leg drop you, 1, 2, 3, I fucking do a fucking couple of these, Crowd gets out. You get paid a little bit. I get paid a lot. That's the business.
I break out the 24-inch pythons and we all go home.
Whereas in Lethal Weapon, for an action series at least, these guys, and here's the only movie I can think of, 48 Hours, I would, because those aren't action stars, those are just actors and comedians, obviously. But if you want to say the only equivalent I can think of in the same ballpark that really does it really well, 2 movies. Another Shane Black movie, which is The Nice Guys.
Nice Guys is
we
great.
We have two actors who don't mind giving it and taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Die Hard 3.
Yeah, I think that's really, and I talked to my dad about this too when I saw him over the holiday, but I think that's really the surprising thing about Die Hard 3 is that Jackson and Willis are really able to play off each other more than you think that they would be able to.
But theirs is purely antagonistic until it becomes not that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's because in the context of the movie, Jackson thinks he's a racist for like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Well, he thinks he's a crazy white boy. And then,
that too.
Then he's a cop, so he still hates him.
Yeah, he shows him in the hood with a sign that says, like, what does it say? It's like,
I hate black people.
I hate black people or something like that. Or like kill the blacks or something like that.
No, it's I hate black people, but the black people is the other word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's in the original cut. They changed the word to something else. I don't know. They changed it in a different version to be something else, but in the original version, it's
I hate that one.
I hate N-words. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they're purely antagonistic, and even when he finds out he's a cop and he's forced to do this, he's like, well, you're a cop, I still don't like you.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with you because now I have to play because assignment says I have to play.
Yeah.
Whereas in Lethal Weapon, there are 2 guys who work together. Like, they have to work together. The classic buddy cop scenario, the classic hot, loose cannon, Captain, you don't get it. I know I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do type thing.
That was also a great bit too, yeah. When they had the meeting with the captain, he's like, you read what that says? And he's like, yeah, but I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck. I'm going to smoke if I want to smoke.
Which everyone...
Murtaugh's just like, you don't even have to that. I got to live with that shit.
Yeah, everyone wishes they could do that. They're just going to be able to tell their boss to eat it.
Tell your boss, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Zach, you want to mention about Lethal Weapon 2?
I'm trying to think. We talked about the girl who only got there to die.
Yep.
She was hot though. Hot girl.
Yeah, she's
Good
pretty.
for her.
Brutal way to die too.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, that whole scene is like.
I feel like Shane Black wrote. These aren't facts. I feel like they took all of Shane Black's death scenes and just kept those, and just added comedy.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
Because the death scenes in this movie are way more brutal than the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, because I mean, even in, what was it? It's like the main turning point of the movie, like the beginning of Act 3 is like basically every single cop that you've met up to that point, besides Riggs and Murtaugh, is fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, they just kill all of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, because then it's like, it's also, you have the point where it's like, oh, that's the other Chekhov's gun, where you have the point where you have the poker scene, because then you have everybody being invited, and then like Murtaugh and Riggs were supposed to be there. And then obviously Riggs is getting laid, and then Murtaugh has to fucking watch Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, I was feeling lucky tonight." And it's like, Murtaugh, you don't know how lucky you were because you didn't fucking die in an explosion. Yeah. So.
The guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
The bald guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is in that. Yeah, that is him, right?
Yeah, it's him from Breaking Bad. Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but yeah, he's like, I only know him from like the one episode I watched of Better Call Saul, but he was like the security guard for wherever in Better Call Saul.
Oh, he's an ATF agent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a Fed. But yeah, man, I really like Lethal Weapon 2. It's a solid movie. I'm not gonna say it's better than the first one, but to me it builds upon what we have, and it's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. And it's better than a lot of action. I mean, if I had to tier list them, like,
I would say it's one of the better sequels to a movie that I've seen.
I would agree. And it doesn't eclipse the first movie, but it keeps a lot of all the great stuff about it. And what it does is that it's so concise in that it's just better than 85% of other action flicks, let alone action sequels. Like, don't even talk about that. Like, if you talk about other action sequels, like, fucking Bloodsport 2 or Kickboxer 2 or Blood Fist 2 or fucking Rambo 2. Like, I love Rambo 2, but it's not Rambo. It's not First Blood. Like First Blood is a way better movie.
I would say the only exception to that would probably be Terminator 2. I've always liked Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is, but to me, like Terminator 2 ain't even the same genre.
No, it's not. It's not the same genre. Because I mean, it's like with Aliens. Like the first one is essentially a horror movie, and then the second one just becomes an action movie.
Yeah, exactly. And Die Hard 2 is good, but it's not as good as Die Hard 1. And it's, to me, it's actually a step down.
Yeah.
But when I think of like all the other B or C tier list action flicks, Lethal Weapon 2, which is not that tier, it's obviously an A tier movie, but it's a big budget movie. But it really is like, it stands on its own as a fine movie.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch Lethal Weapon 1 to be like, okay, I kind of get it. I get it.
Yeah, I could say even without watching Lethal Weapon, you could probably just go into this movie and you could still, I mean, you would know what's going on and you could have a fair judgment. Because, I mean, they really fill in a lot of the blanks that are kind of left in the first movie, especially a lot of the stuff with Riggs' wife. Like, honestly, in this movie, you'd still be fine because a lot of stuff, there's not a lot of stuff in the first movie that's really mentioned or carried over.
It's just personality stuff.
Yeah.
Just personality.
Because, I mean, in this movie, Riggs isn't really suicidal anymore, so that really doesn't really matter as much.
He found a family.
Like, he's still a crazy dude because he just, like, plays by his own rules. But, like, in the first movie, he did that because, like, he wanted to fucking die. Yeah. And now he's, like, not at that point. Well, like, he just does it because he just doesn't like having to.
He's just he's a special forces guy who wants to. Yeah. He likes taking it to the, to the limit and whatever. Yeah. So that's just a character. So. But yeah, man. How would you rate it, bro?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I think last week I gave the first one a 9. I would probably also give this one a 9. I think it's still a solid 9 out of 10 movie. I enjoyed this a lot. I definitely could see myself rewatching at least these first two. We'll see how I feel about the third and the fourth one, but I could definitely see me rewatching at least these first two for a long time to come. These are really fun movies.
Well, I'll predict that you'll watch 1, 2, and 3, and you will just forget about 4. So I agree, man.
Here's the real question: will 5 come out and I just forget about 5?
Well, I'll be there opening night in theaters watching number 5, and I will have to know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll be there.
You'll have to tell me. Yeah.
I'll be there. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you back next week with Lethal Weapon 3. Check the vending
3, machines. Baby. Trace Uno.
So, see you guys.
I don't know why I said Trace Uno. Trace.